Sure.
27th of October, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua, Lecha.
Thank you. There was loose mentions. Rabbi Shlomo First here. Yeshiva Samanavshi. Here in Yerushalayim, to resume. This is our Erev Shabbos here in Chumash and Rashi. Parsha's Lech Lecha, Erev Shabbos, Shana Tavshin Pei Dalet. Okay, let's start over here. There are a few things we can try and discuss. All right, so let's begin over here in Perek Yud Daled. Perek Yud Daled. Pasuk Yud Gimel. Perek Yud Daled. Pasuk Yud Gimel.
Yud Daled, Yud Gimel. Yud Daled, Yud Gimel.
Is that the one that says, and there came one that had escaped?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Who would like to read? Roy or Lou? Who would like to read?
I will.
Okay.
Vayava apatlit vayaged la'avram ha'ivri v'hu shochein be'elokei. No, be'elonei mamre ha'emori achi eshkol va'achi aner v'hem ba'alei Paris Avraham. So let's see. Let's see, where does it start here? Vayavo. And my English says a fugitive came and told Avram, the Ivri.
It's more like a survivor.
Survivor?
Yes, a survivor more than a fugitive. Yeah. Fugitive's like a criminal, right? He's escaping from fugitive, which is escaping from justice. That's a fugitive.
And maybe refugee would be better.
Refugee, yes, right, refugee. That's much better, right?
Okay, and he told Abraham the Ivri.
Roy, what was your translation?
The one that had escaped.
Okay, the escapee. Okay.
Escapee, yeah. Who dwelled in the plains of Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshkol, and the brother of Aner, and they were the Baale. They were the friends.
Well, yeah, they called Bale Bris. Bale. The word Bale is right. Is like a sort of like a generic term meaning a person who's closely associated with something.
Right.
I've got here confederate.
Okay, that's good.
They were confederate with Avram.
Right. My English says parties to the covenant of Avram.
Okay. Very good.
That's more descriptive.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what covenant are we talking about? There was no covenant at this time, was there?
Well, this was a pact between themselves, right? This is the meaning they as Roy's translation, they were confederates, meaning they were associated with another, each with each other.
Uh-huh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
that I mean, they had made a covenant, a bris, a pact between the three. Avram Avinu made a pact with Mamre, Aner, and Eshkol.
right. Okay, so Rashi says, Vayavo hapalit, and the refugee came, Lefi Peshuto, according to its simple meaning, Ze Og, this is Og. Wasn't Og
Right.
a giant?
Yes, he was a giant. That's maybe why he survived, and maybe that's why he escaped.
So he escaped from Sodom?
Well, he escaped from the war. The previous psukim were describing the war between the 4 kings and the 5 kings.
Right. Right. Okay, so he escaped from the war.
Well, the Rashi's going to bring another pshat as well. We'll get to that soon.
Oh, it says, yes, Shepalat mean Hamilchama. He was a refugee from the war.
Right.
Vahu Shikasuv, and this is that which is written. Ki rak og nishar mi yeter ha harifaim, because only Og remained of the remaining Rephaim. And Rephaim means giants, right?
Right. If you remember, if you look at the end of Parsha Bereshis, right? If you want, you could look back there toward the end of Parsha Bereshis. It explains there about the Rephaim.
Parshas Bereshis.
That's
See, it says the Nephilim. Those are giants, I think.
right. Yeah.
And it says the sons of the judges, which I don't know if that's referring to giants or not. I think I heard one time that the sons of the judges were the angels.
It could be. Yeah, there's a Rashi that deals with that. Yeah, they're related to the. They're all related to that there. Let me see.
Yeah. Rashi says the sons of judges, the sons of the lords, and the judges. Alternatively, the angelic lords who go on a mission for the omnipresent.
Right.
And then they mingle among the people.
Right.
Okay, but that's not really what we're interested in.
Yeah. Right.
I don't see anything besides this Nephilim. And Rashi says because they fell, it doesn't say anything about them being giants.
Right. Right. Okay.
Might just be Midrash.
Could be. Yeah.
It says here in Pasuk 4, in the last bit of Genesis. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, and the sons of gods came to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them.
Oh,
And
okay. That's so. Your translations, instead of saying the Nephilim, it says giants.
well, yeah, well, the translation does, yes.
It could be actually, it could be maybe make it even more simple. It could be if you look back at plus in Perik Yudal plus a K, it mentions the Rephaim over there. They were a type of um one of the peoples over there. I'm not sure. I don't know if we have to say they were giants. Rephaim. It says equals to Rephaim Bashtaris Karnaim. You see the Rashi, the pasuk there in pasuk K.
Yud Daled Pasuk Hey.
Yes.
Okay, I see the Rephaim there. I don't see a Rashi that says mentions Rephaim.
No, the pasuk says Rephaim, but that's the pasuk itself.
It says that, and they struck the Rephaim in Ashtaros Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shavak Kirathaim, and the Horites in the mountain of Seir, as far as the plain of Paran, which is by the desert.
Right.
It doesn't say that the Rephaim are giants.
No, you don't have to say that they're giants. It's
We know that they
yeah. You don't have to necessarily say that they're giants. They could be just a group of people.
Okay. All right. So the point is that this fugitive came from the war of the 4 kings and the 5 kings, and he was Og, according to Rashi, and he was the last one remaining of the Rephaim,
Right.
and it says Amraphel and his companions did not kill him when they struck the Rephaim in Ashtarot Karnaim. Okay, so that's part of that battle of the 4 kings and the 5 kings. Okay, and the Midrash Rishis Rabbah says this is Og, who escaped from the destruction of the generation of the flood. And according to this Midrash, this is the meaning of from the remaining Rephaim, remained from the giants who lived before the flood, as it says, the Nephilim were on the earth, etc. And he intended, that is, Og intended, that Abraham would be killed, attempting to rescue Lot, and he would marry Sarah.
Yes.
Which doesn't make any sense because he's a giant. How can he marry a normal-sized woman?
Okay. Look, when it comes to Taiva, there's no seichel to Taiva.
Okay, if you say so.
No, why do people mess around? This woman's a married woman. Why does someone want to get involved with her? She's only going to get her and him and everybody else in trouble. Anyway, that's the way the Yetzer Hara works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so continuing Rashi. Actually, there's a footnote here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says the same thing. He wanted to marry Sarah. Okay, so Ha'ivri, that he came from across the river. Okay. And then parties to the covenant of Abraham, Shekar Su Imo Baris, that they cut, i.e., entered into a covenant with him. I guess Shekar Su is the same as the word to cut.
Right. Now the question is, I don't really know too much about this this bris that they made with Avram Avinu.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of a comment on it.
That
Oh, but there's a Devar Acher, alternatively, Shehisiu Lo Eitza. They're called parties of the covenant because they gave Avram advice. And there's a reference to Bereshis Rabbah 42:8. It says, Al Hamila, regarding circumcision.
right.
Kamo she mefurash b'makom acher, as it explains elsewhere. So apparently there's a machlokas according to the footnote. About whether it was if they actually had a covenant or they gave him advice.
Right.
But I think I heard that Mamre advised him to do it, and that was why Hashem had it happen in Mamre's territory.
Right. Rashi will mention that later on. Yes. It could, and also, I mean, the bris didn't take place until years later, if I'm not mistaken. Right. This milchama took place before Avram was given the command of the bris milah.
Right.
So it could be that this is just a reference in that aspect. It could be a reference to what was be in the future.
Yeah. I don't see anything that tells us when exactly this war happened.
Well, let's see. I mean, we can find that out. That's pretty.
It said the days of Amraphel.
Right. So we can find that out.
We know it was after he came back from Egypt.
Right. Okay. Okay. Let's continue on.
Okay, back to the Torah.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Vayishma Avraham ki nishba achiv vayerek es chanichav yelidei beso. Shmona Asar Ushlosh Meos the year Dof Ad Dan. Okay, so it says, and Avram heard that his brother was taken captive, and he armed his Chanichav. It says his initiates that were born in his house. 318. And he pursued them as far as Dan.
Oh, right. Let's take a look at Rashi there.
Okay, so the word Vayarek, as Unclus translates it, Vizares, and he armed. Similarly, Vaharikosi acharechem cherev. I will draw the sword after you, meaning as dayain bechar bi aleichem. I will arm myself with a sword against you. V'chein arik charbi. Similarly, I will arm myself with a sword.
Right.
V'chein, and similarly, vayarek chanis usgor. And arm yourself with a spear and give protection.
Right.
Here's our word, chanichav, which they translate as initiates. Shechi ner osan la mitzvos. He initiated them into the commandments. Oh, that's why they're called initiates.
Yeah, very good. That's right. Exactly.
V'hu lashon haskalas kenisas ha'adam. And this is an expression of the beginning of the entry of a person, o cheli, or a utensil, la'umanus, into the craft, shehu asid la'amod ba, in which he is destined to stay. Hold on just a second. You need any help, Judy?
No, I don't need help.
Okay. V'chein chanuch la na'ar. Similarly, he initiated a child. Chanukas hamizbeach, the inauguration of the altar. Chanukas habayis, the inauguration of the house. Pelaz korin lo estranier. In Old French, it's called estranier. Shimona Esrei Vigomer, 318, etc. Rabosenu Amru, our rabbis said, Eliezer Levado Haya. It was Eliezer only. Vahu minyan gimatria shel shemo. And it is the counting of the gematria of his name. 318 is the gematria of Eliezer.
Yes, that's right. 318.
So he and Eliezer went and they fought against the four kings.
Correct.
Dan, as far as Dan, Sham Tashash Kocho. There his strength was enfeebled. Shira'ah She'asidin Banav. For he saw that his children were destined Lahamid Sham Ego, to establish there a calf.
Right. So, how do we understand what Rashi's saying here? Adan, meaning it seemed to be like it's a limitation. He pursued them until there, and then he had to stop. So with Rashi's information, maybe that's the reason he had to stop. He didn't pursue them even further.
But he beat them. So it would imply that that was as far as he needed to pursue them.
Mm-hmm. That's the question. What's the Adan? Shisham. See, Rashi says Shisham Choshesh Koichai. There he lost his strength. Right. So I mean, Masper from Rashi, he would have pursued them further, but he lost his strength because of what he saw in the future.
Which is odd, because if we look ahead, it says as far as dawn, and there he divided against them at night. He and his slaves and struck them and pursued them as far as Hobah. And he brought back all the possessions, and he brought back Lot.
Right.
So he got as far as Dan, but then he went farther. He went to Hobah.
The question was, though, maybe that was maybe backtrack.
I don't know. The way I'm reading it was he at dawn he caught up to them, and then they had the battle, and when he was winning the battle, they fled, and he pursued them further. I don't know. This is hard for me to read.
Yeah, 1 second. See, that's the question. Rashi's adding this extra point about he became weak at that point because of the Order Zorah.
Oh, Rashi says there's no such thing as Hobah.
Yeah, and he's continuing. He says, Eladan Korachoiva. The Lashon Dan is a choiva. Al Shem of Order Zorah. Shasino Yosam.
Right.
He's following through on this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really unclear what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, should I read 15 inside?
Yes, please.
Vaye chalek alehem Lila hu va'a vadav vaya came vaya came vayir defame ad chova asher mismo lida ma the Damasek. So let's see. And he divided there at night. He and his slaves, and he struck them, and he pursued them until dawn. No, until Hobah.
Right.
That is to the small, is the left. To the left of Damascus. My English says to the north, but isn't small the left? Maybe left and north were the same in this position.
Could be right. Could be.
The Rashi says, Vaye Halek Alehem, he divided against them, Lefi Pshuto, according to its simple meaning, Sares Ha Mikra, invert the words of the verse, and read it as follows. Vaye Halek Hu Vadav Alehem Lila. And he and his slaves divided up against them at night. The derech
Right.
harodfim, in the matter of those who pursue. Demis halgim achar hanif dafim, who split up after those who are being pursued. Keshe borchim, when they flee. Zeh Lechan, this one over here, the Lechan, and this one over there. Lila, at night. Klomar, that is to say, Achar Shechashcha, after it became dark. Lo Nimna, he did not refrain mil radfam, from pursuing them. Midrash Agada.
Right. Go ahead.
And the Agadic Midrash explanation, she nech lak halayla, that the night was divided. Uve chetz o arishon, and in the first half, naasa lo nes. He did for him a miracle. V'chetz o hasheni nishmar, and its second half was kept guarded. Uva lo, and he came forth for him. He came forth for him. What does that mean?
Well, we have to finish it. With Nishmor, it was Nishmor Bolo. It was guarded for him. Was preserved for him. Lechetzon Laila Shel Mitzrayim, which is what we have to think about that a little bit. What
Or
that means.
midnight of Egypt.
No.
When it says he came forth for him, who is he and who's him? Shem came forth for Avraham?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. That's the plain meaning, I think.
And the midnight of Egypt is talking about Pesach.
Meaning the night was divided, right? There was a division of the night. So we need to understand what was occurring there in Mitzrayim. What was saved and what occurred in Mitzrayim?
Seems like two completely unrelated nights.
Yeah, they are exactly, completely. You're right. One was for Avram Avinu, and one was for Klal Yisrael and Mitzrayim.
And one was a war and one was not a war.
Right. So that's what we have to try and understand. What was being saved for that half night in Mitzrayim, unless that was referring to the Makas Bechoros.
Right. But that wasn't a war with the Jews. That was a civil war.
Well, when Hashem struck that occurred before the night, but then at night there was the Makas Bechoros when the firstborn were killed.
Right.
Yeah, that's the Parsha. I think the Kli Yakar explains that. That's the Parsha. Just the half night in Mitzrayim was when Hashem Ba'atzmo came out B'toch Mitzrayim and then killed the Bechorim of Mitzrayim. Yeah, that's the Parsha. Is what it's referring to here.
All right, so continuing, Ad Chova, as far as Chova, Ein Makom Shemo Chova. There is no place whose name is Chova. Vidan Korei Chova. But Dan is called Chova.
And why is that?
Al Shem Avodah Zara, because of idol worship.
Mm-hmm.
Sida Lios Sham, which was destined to be there.
Right.
That's interesting. The word for destined, Sha'asida, means future.
Right.
That in the future it would be there.
Right. So why is it? What's interesting about that choice of words?
Well, I wouldn't translate it as destined. I would say which is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Destined implies some kind of like a mazel type relationship. I don't know. It's. I'm not sure what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, since that was something which was going to happen, right? So that's the introduction of this concept of destiny. It was destined. It was predetermined to happen, or it was. I mean, or it's talking from Hashem's perspective that He sees and knows everything without the constrictions, limitations of time.
Right. Right. Okay, that's the end of 15.
Okay, good. Let's continue on.
All right, so 16. Vayashev eis kol har hush. V'gam es lot achiv ura chusho Shiv v'gam es hanashim v'es ha'am. Okay, so he brought back all the possessions and also Lot, his brother,
Right.
and his possessions. He brought also the women and the people. Well, that's interesting. If you brought the people, why does this have to say the women? Women are people. There's no Rashi on 16.
Yeah.
It seems redundant to me that it says as well as the women and the people.
Right.
I mean, you want to say Lot is a person, but you know he wants to emphasize that was the whole reason he went, was to rescue Lot. I can understand why it says Lot, but the women, I don't understand why it's calling that out. They were the booty. They were the prize.
Could be. I mean, everything was, in fact. Some say he didn't mention anything about the children, and Avram kept the children because he wanted to mistire them.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do 17.
Yeah, 1 minute. Let me just look here for a moment here. Wait 1 second. Yeah. Okay, let's continue on.
The Yetzei Melech Sodom Lik Ra So Acharei Shuvo Me Hakos Es Kidar La Omer V'es Hamelachim Asher Ito El Emek Shavei Hu Emek Hamelech. Okay, so the king of Sodom went out to meet him after he returned from defeating Kedar La Omer and the kings that were with him to the valley of Shaveh, which is the valley of the king.
Right. That was the place they went to. Good.
Okay, so Rashi says, Emek Shaveh, the valley of Shaveh, Kach Shemo, this is his name. Kitargumo, as it's translated by Onkelos, the Meshar Mafna, to the vacant valley, Pinui Mei Lanos. There's no trees, it's vacant of trees.
Right, it was right. It was barren from all trees, right?
When we call the show and any obstacle,
Right.
okay, Amek Hamelech, the valley of the king, Base Risa de Malka, the king's area of a ris, base ris echad, one square ris, shehu shloshim kanim, which is 30 measuring rods. The footnote says a measuring rod is 6 amos,
Right.
about 12
Okay.
feet.
Yes.
So 30 is about 350 feet.
Correct.
Okay, so it's pretty small.
Right.
Shahu shloshim kanim, the 30 measuring rods, shehaya miyuchad lamelech, which is designated for the king, l'tzachek sham, to sport there.
Right. It was like like some kind of a playing field.
Right. A sports arena.
Yeah, some sort, right?
But tzachek, does that imply revelry?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not.
I see.
Yeah.
Umidrash Agada, and the Agadic Midrashic interpretation, Emek, a valley, Shehush Vu Sham Kol Ha-Umos, that all the nations became equal. English says, i.e., were of one mind. Behim licho es Avram alehem, and they made Abraham sovereign among them, over them.
Over them, right? Over them. Now, at this point, Avram Avinu became the king over the whole world, right?
Right. Lin Sia Elohim, as a prince of God. Ulekatzin, and a chieftain.
Right. So he gained at this point. After the war, he gained leadership. Right.
Okay. 18.
Yes, please.
Umalke Tzedek Melech Shalem Hotzi Lechem V'yayin V'hu Kohen Lakel Elyon. So is that correctly pronounced Lakel? Because it's he was a Kohen to the true God.
I think so. Yes, that's right. Correct.
And Malke Tzedek, the king of Shalem, brought bread and wine, and he was a priest of Hashem, the Most High.
Okay, good. Right.
Malke Tzedek, according to Rashi, Midrash Agada, the Agadic Midrashic interpretation, who Shem, he is Shem, Ben Noach, the son of Noach.
Right. Right. So that's right. That you see that he was related very strongly to Noah here. Yeah.
Right. Lechem v'yayin, bread and wine. Kach osim li gi'ei milchama. Hold on a second. I got somebody at the door.
Someone's outdoor too.
No, really? At the same time?
Mm.
Oh. So he brought out the lechem, bread and wine, because this was the way that they would bring to people who were engaged in war. They would bring them bread and wine that would refresh them.
Hi, sorry about that.
Mm.
So bread and wine. So they do for those who are exhausted from battle. The hair low, Melchizedek thus showed Avram she'ein v'libo alav, that there was nothing in his heart against him. Al sheharag es banav, even though Abraham had killed his descendants.
Now, what does that have to do with the killing the descendants? Why does Rashi interject this idea, this concept over here, killing the descendants? I mean, there were a lot of those killed in war over here. And here Melchizedek is making a gesture to Avraham Avinu that he shouldn't be concerned about it.
Well, if it was shame, then these were the descendants of shame. So what?
There was a concern here that Avraham Avinu had killed those in battle, and they might have been relatives of Melchizedek. So therefore, in order to reassure Avraham Avinu that it was, even if he did kill them, it was still permissible to kill them because he was bringing out this lechem and yayin for those who wage war.
So his goodwill.
Yeah, exactly right.
Even though you killed one of my children, I realize that you were right. So I'm offering you a conciliation.
Right, exactly. And so then let's see. I think we have time for one more pasuk.
There's more Rashi here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Midrash Agada, and Midrashic Agadic explanation. Remez lo, it's a hint to him. Al haminachos, about the meal offerings. Va'al hanisachim, and the poured offerings. Sheyak rivu sham banav, that Avram's descendants would offer there.
You see, that's a remnant to the future. They had the base of Mikdash there in Yerushalayim, correct?
So Melchizedek was hinting that there needed to be these services in the future.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's the end of 18. I think we're out of time.
Oh, well, okay. All right, we'll have to stop here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Roy. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Lou. Everyone should have a good Shabbos. And hope to see you in the beginning of next week.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Everyone should be well. Thank you. Bye.
Mm.
Okay,
Right, thank
bye.
you. Bye. Bye-bye.